Welcome. So in the last session, I started discussing about bryophytes, and we know the bryophytes is mainly divided into two groups: liverworts and mosses. And under the liverworts, we have seen some general characters, and then we are actually discussing about reproduction. And coming to this reproduction in liverworts, the reproduction takes place by both asexual methods and also by sexual method. Under asexual mode of reproduction, we have already studied it takes place by fragmentation, and it also takes place by right formation of gemicups. Okay, right now we are actually discussing about sexual reproduction. Okay, so this sexual reproduction takes place by formation of the antheridia and archegonium. So already in the last session I have given you the structures, okay, of antheridia and archegonia. So I was especially talking in case of marcantia. So in case of marcantia, so this marcantia is dioecious, that is male and female, okay, thalli are different, right? So we have already seen in the last session, and the male thalli will produce the antheridio 4, okay, so that will have receptacle, and that consists of antheridia. And we know the antheridia will produce, right, antherozoids, and those antherozoids, I told that they are biflagellate. Then coming to the archiconiophore, archiconiophore also have, the structures, the egg at the base of that. Okay, so the archegonium is actually flask shaped, so I have given that picture everything in the last session. So that archegonium, okay, at its base will have the egg cell. So this is what how we have seen, right? And here we see the presence of, okay, so the egg cell, and of course there will be some few other cells, okay, so that occupy, okay, a small canal here. So you will see something like this. So this is the egg cell, okay, and the antheridia, so antheridia, it releases biflagellate biflagellate antherozoids. So that releases, okay, so biflagellate antherozoids. So right, so this is a biflagellate antherozoid, and this is a mature, okay, archegonium, is a mature archegonium, right? Now, okay, so when the waters, means when there is a rainfall, we know that the bryophytes require water for the reproduction, right? So when there is rainfall, so these antherozoids will be released into the water, and finally they come to this, okay, mature archegonium. And by the time these cells will get degenerate, and okay, so they get degenerated here, will get degenerated, okay, and so these biflagellate antherozoids will pass through this, okay, region, okay, actually this region we call it neck, okay, and this part we call it venter. So it passes through this neck and then finally comes in contact with the egg cell, and that results in fertilization. Okay, so that is the biflagellate antherozoid. Okay, so plus XL. So plus XL. So this is a fertilization, and we know the fertilization results in formation of zygote. We know this XL is haploid and antherozoid is also haploid. So two haploid cells, when they unite and result in the formation of zygote, and that will be diploid in condition. Now this zygote, whatever it is formed, doesn't undergo the reduction division immediately. Okay, so that's important. So zygote doesn't undergo, okay, reduction division. So reduction division, which means meiosis here. Okay, so it doesn't undergo meiosis immediately. So it doesn't undergo, okay, so it will actually develop into a structure, sporophyte. So it will develop into a structure called, okay, sporophyte, of course, called sporogonium, right? So this zygote later it starts forming into embryo. So after, okay, sometime, not immediately, then it develops into a structure called sporogonium. Develops into sporogonium. So that is the sporophyte. So is the sporophyte. Okay, and the sporophyte will be seen, okay, in this way. So it will be having, okay, so three structures. So the sporophyte here is dependent on the gametophyte. Okay, so here I'm just, okay, so here, so this is how it looks like, the sporogonium. And this sporogonium, that is the sporophyte, it will have actually three structures. It will have, okay, so three structures. So that will be foot, right? The sporophyte will be differentiated into three parts. Okay, the foot, and then it also has, okay, seta, and then another part called capsule. So here foot, seta, and capsule, so are the parts of sporophyte, and this sporophyte is dependent, okay, on the gametophyte. So there is a, this is all, okay, thallus. So it is developed on, okay, right? So thallus, and see, a few more structures like this. So of course here I'm not drawing the cells, but there will be a lot of cells, and inside the capsule we find, okay, sporogenous cells. So there will be a lot of sporogenous cells. So the capsule contains sporogenous cells. Now, the sporogenous cells will act as spore mother cells, right? So they act as spore mother cells. So these spore mother cells are diploid. So the sporogonium has three parts: foot, seta, capsule. Okay, right? And inside the capsule there will be sporogenous cells. So these sporogenous cells will act as spore mother cells, and these spore mother cells are going to undergo the reduction division, that is meiosis. Okay, So each spore mother cell will form 4 spores. So that we call it a spore tetrad. So it's called spore tetrad. So it forms 4 spores. That is those 4 spores together. I call it 4. Okay, tetrad. So tetrad here, which means 4. So one spore mother cell. So one spore mother cell will undergo meiosis and results in the formation of spore tetrad. That is 4 spores are formed. So here like that there are several spore mother cells. Hundreds and hundreds of spore mother cells are present. They undergo, each one of it will undergo the process of meiosis. So the zygote which is formed after the fertilization, it results in the formation of embryo. Of course here it is by mitotic division, and here also it is by mitotic division, and that results in the formation of this sporophyte, and inside this capsule formation of spores takes place, right? So later, once the spores are formed, so here I'm drawing the spores. So this all capsule will be filled with millions of spores. So here later, once they become mature, the capsule breaks open, and then it releases spores. So these are all spores, and they are all haploid. So this is each of the spore is haploid. Now these spores which are released when they find a suitable location, so when they find a suitable location, they germinate and give rise to the thallus. So spore upon germination, it develops into thallus, and that thallus may become a female thallus, or may become a male thallus, and again the process of this sexual cycle goes on. So this is how the reproduction takes place. Even in case of mosses also, right, the same pattern of reproduction takes place. So the whatever here I have discussed, so in mosses also the same pattern of sexual cycle takes place, right? So that's all about these liverworts. Examples, so already, so examples for liverworts: Markantia, Riccia, then Anthoceros, etc. are some examples of these liverworts. One more point I would like to mention. So thallus is actually the gametophyte. So thallus is gametophyte. Now depending on thallus is this sporophyte. So here this sporophyte is a partial parasite that depends on this gametophyte. So the gametophyte, we know it synthesizes its own food materials by process of photosynthesis. So it has chloroplast. Now coming to this sporophyte, the sporophyte partially depends on gametophyte. So how it is here, this sporophyte is also capable of performing photosynthesis. It absorbs only certain nutrients, I mean inorganic substances from the gametophyte, but it prepares the food materials here, right? So sporophyte performs photosynthesis, right, and the gametophyte also performs photosynthesis, and sporophyte is dependent on gametophyte, because this whole structure whatever I have drawn actually developed on that thallus. So right, so later this will help us understanding the life cycle in plants. So that's about the liverworts. Now next we'll see mosses. So the next group of bryophytes are mosses. Okay, so here in mosses also the dominant stage. So the dominant stage is gametophyte. So the dominant stage is gametophyte. Okay. Also, the sexual reproduction. So how I have discussed in case of liver whorls, it also takes place almost in the same process. Okay, so spores which are produced. So here we know those spores are okay haploid, right? And these spores, upon germination, so upon germination, it gives rise to a first stage. Okay, so and that first stage is called Protonema stage. It's called Protonema stage. So you can see here, say suppose this is the spore, and emerging out from the spore, okay, right? So this is the spore, and this is how the germination takes place. So okay, I'm sorry, spore. Okay, so this one breaks open, and you can see here the inside structure comes out, and then it starts growing on its own. So that we call it the protonema. So this protonema stage is the first stage. So the protonema stage is the first stage, and this protonema is right creeping. So it is creeping means it grows okay prostately on the surface of the substratum. Yeah. Okay, green. So it means it will perform photosynthesis. Okay, then it is branched and frequently is filamentous. Okay, so how we see this protonema. Okay, so you can see here. So this is the branched protonema structure. Okay, so just I'm drawing. So this is how the protonema looks. So this is the filamentous stage. Data from a small bud on okay the protonema. So that is especially secondary protonema. So here the primary protonema later it gives rise to secondary protonema. So here primary protonema. So here primary protonema is the one that actually emerged from the spore immediately. Okay, that emerged from the spore. Okay, so it grows for a period of time, and then it gives rise to the secondary protonema. Okay, so this will be okay green in color, right? And it will be performing the process of okay photosynthesis. Okay, so here this is the secondary protonema stage, and we see here rhizoids also. Okay, so these are rhizoids. Okay, and then so on this we see a small bud development. So you can see here a small bud on the secondary protonema stage. Okay, so here is the secondary protonema, right? And it is creeping green branched, okay, and is frequently filamentous. So this one, it performs photosynthesis. So it performs photosynthesis. On this you will see a small development of bud. So here this one leads to the secondary protonema stage, and from the secondary protonema is the development of next stage, what is called the leafy stage. Leafy stage. So this leafy stage is called the leafy stage. It develops from a bud on secondary protonema. So the leafy stage developed from a bud on secondary protonema. So here you can see this bud. So this bud now develops into the leafy stage, right? So this is the second stage. Is the second stage. So the first stage is the protonema stage, and the second stage is the leafy stage. And this leafy stage actually develops from a bud on the secondary protonema. So whatever that evolved from the spore is, right, the primary protonema, and the primary protonema grows and becomes secondary protonema, and on the secondary protonema buds will develop, and those buds will develop into the leafy stage. Okay, so now this leafy stage is actually, okay, upright, so that we will see it how it is. Okay, I hope this part is clear. So let's look at this leafy stage. So coming to this leafy stage, right? So this consists of an upright slender axis. So it consists of upright slender. Okay, so slender, which means thin. So they are thin axis will be present, and will have a spirally arranged leaves, and have spirally arranged leaves. So it will have spirally arranged leaves, right? And this one is attached to the soil through a multicellular and branched rhizoids. So that part we will see. uh, I draw the secondary protonema. Okay, so here the secondary protonema, that is branch. So here I am drawing it to indicate that it is photosynthetic. It shows the process of photosynthesis, and so okay. So and this one, right, develops. So of course here already there are rhizoids. So here there are rhizoids, and I told you that a bud develops. So this bud will develop into, so I'll take from here, it develops into a structure like this, and this will have the rhizoids also. Okay, right, and this is the main axis that develops, and then we see on this the leaves which will be spirally arranged. So we can see here the leaves that are spirally arranged. Okay, so this is the main stem, and these are the rhizoids, and this is the secondary protonema. So it's the secondary protonema are the spirally arranged leaves. Okay, so this portion actually constitutes the gametophyte, and the rhizoids are branched. So they are branched and multicellular. So these are branched and multicellular. So these rhizoids will help in anchorage and absorption of substances from the soil. Okay, and on these spirally arranged leaves. So okay, so that is the part of the gametophyte, and from this gametophyte develops is okay the sporophyte. So you can see the development of sporophyte. So same how I have shown in case of the liverworts, the reproduction. Okay, so here also you will be seeing. Okay, so from the gametophyte, so this is the gametophyte. So whatever we have seen, so this portion is the gametophyte, and this one which develops is the sporophyte. We know the sporophyte will have okay, three parts. So here somewhere inside is a foot. Okay, so there is a foot of this sporophyte, and this is the seta, and this portion is capsule. So all these together will form this sporophyte. Okay, so inside this capsule the spore formation takes place. Okay, so already I have told you in the liverwort. So capsule, so spore. Okay, spores develop, and once the spores are developed, so they are released, and okay, so those spores will again germinate and develop into primary protonema, that later develop into secondary protonema. The bud will the buds that develop on the secondary protonema will give rise to this okay the leafy stage. So this is the leafy stage that develops on this secondary protonema. With this, I will end today's session. So in the next session, we will discuss a few more points on this, and we will see the modes of reproduction. The other modes of reproduction that takes place in case of mosses. Okay.